Welcome to part 4 and the final episode in the mini series Commonly Used Terms in Criminal Proceedings. The first term that I would like to mention, beginning with T, is the term transcript. And this is a type copy of what was said in court, as in the evidence that was given by witnesses, or it could be a transcript of the proceedings in general, which would include things said by the attorneys and the judge in the hearing. The next term I would like to mention is the term trial, and this is a hearing in court where all the evidence is heard and a final decision is made in the higher courts. The trial is conducted before a judge and a jury, and in the law court it is usually conducted before a magistrate who sits without a jury. The next term I would like to mention is the term treason, and this is a crime of betrayal of one's country, especially by attempting to overthrow the government of the day. Then I move on to commonly used terms in criminal proceedings, beginning with you. And the term I would like to bring to your attention is unanimous. Unanimous verdict. And this is a decision where all members of the jury agree that the accused is guilty or not guilty of the offense. Then I would like to bring to your attention the term undertaking. It's a promise in the course of the legal proceedings by a party or counsel. Then you may hear the term unrepresented. This is simply where a person charged with a criminal offense, accused person, or the defendant is not represented by a lawyer. Now we continue with commonly used terms in criminal proceedings. Now we move to terms beginning with the letter V. The term I would like to discuss is verdict, and this is a decision of the jury in a criminal trial or a criminal trial as to whether an accused person or a defendant is guilty of or not guilty of the offense charged. You may also hear the term victim being used, and this is the person who suffered harm as a direct result of an offense or offenses against them. Could be harm to their property. Doesn't have to be personal. Next term you may hear about in criminal proceeding is the term victim impact statement, and this is a statement from the victim that may be presented in court after an offender or defendant has been found guilty of an offence or has pleaded guilty to the offence and is to be sentenced. The victim impact statement informs the court about the harm suffered by the victim as a result of the offender's action. The next term you may hear about is the term voir, and this is where there are legal arguments about admissibility of a particular piece of evidence in court. This is done in the absence of the witness and the jury. You may also hear the term venue. This is the geographic area where the court has jurisdiction. A change of venue is a change of transfer of a case from one judicial district to another. And finally, in this series, commonly used terms in criminal proceedings, part 4, we come to terms beginning with the letter W. And the first term I would like to discuss is the term witness. And you may have heard of this term being used over and over, not only in the context of criminal proceedings, but in the context of court proceedings generally. And a witness is a person who testifies before a court and answers questions in front of a magistrate or judge and jury. And please bear in mind that an accused person or a defendant can also be a witness in his own case. You may also hear the term witness expenses. This is where a witness is paid for reasonable expenses incurred, maybe loss of wages or travel expenses in relation to his or her attendance at court to testify in a criminal proceedings. And finally, you may certainly have heard of the term warrant. This is a court authorization, most often for police officers to conduct a search or to make an arrest. So it could either be an arrest warrant or a search warrant authorized by the court. In the case of a search warrant, could be authorized by a justice of the peace. Here is where I will leave it in this 4-part series, commonly used terms in criminal proceedings. And by no stretch of imagination, the terms that I refer to in this series are by no means exhaustive. And please also bear in mind that there could be some overlap, as some of the terms are general in nature and could be used in civil proceedings, commercial proceedings, or family proceedings. I thank you for listening. Please leave a comment if you wish, and if it is a criticism, once it's constructive, I am willing to consider it. Thank you.